Welcome to I'm Not Making Up Stories, where I make up multiple stories for a book, and it'll be up to you to guess which one is the true plot for the book. Today, I'm talking about a book called 1222. I'm going to present three possible stories: a science fiction, a mystery thriller, and a fantasy. Science fiction. In the year 177-604 AD, humanity has spread far and wide across the galaxy, not just in distance from the Earth, but also in culture, resemblance, morals, religion, biology, and intelligence. Despite acquiring so much compared to the humans of the past, they have lost much more about the past itself. One age from the past, the information age, had advanced at an enormous rate. With such easy access to everyone, the word facts had lost its meaning. One can feel its ripple effect echoing in the depths of uncertainty that all historians regard their field with, especially when it's about Earth. Any information about the planet is a fuzzy dream slipping away the more one tries to remember it. Yet, according to some, clinging to the past is all humanity has left to do. In the year 177-604 AD, humanity is dying. With it, intelligent life will vanish. After all these years of searching, humans didn't find any intelligent life that didn't start on Earth. There were countless habitable planets, but none with sustained intelligent life forms of its own. When humans tried to uplift an indigenous species, the environment turned hostile. But when humans uplift one of the earthly species to the level of humanity, those very planets would allow life to thrive. Seemingly, there's something special about life that originated on Earth. No, there was something special. Now that specialness is running out, and no one knows why. In the year 177-604 AD, humanity finds itself at the edge of its knowledge and intelligence. Historians are charged with seeking the dying embers of life and collecting their stories, humanity's memories. Arthur Dior Brooke is one such historian, belonging to one species uplifted by humans several thousand generations ago. His next destination is the planet codenamed 1222, a codename chosen after the year which its inhabitants can supposedly provide information about, Earth's year 1222. The codename is a temporary designation, to be confirmed after Arthur talks to the surviving colony in the deserts of the North Pole. Arthur must be quick to assess the usefulness of the colony and move to his next destination. There is no time to waste. So many years of history to record, so few lives left to recall, and even less time left for humanity. In the year 177-604 AD, humanity decides what to leave behind in the cold, dark universe. Mystery. In the mountains of Norway, there is a village called Finse. The village is centered around a railway station on the Bergen line. At 1222 meters above sea level is the highest point in the Norwegian railway system. You might have seen this place on TV or perhaps in theaters. Finse was chosen to portray the ice planet Hoth in the Star Wars movie The Empire Strikes Back. Close to the railway station, there is a hotel, aptly named Finse 1222. This is where the events of this book takes place, events that are just as interesting as the space opera movie that was filmed around the village. A train from Oslo to Bergen derails just before it enters a tunnel. Except for the train's engineer, all passengers survive and take shelter from the snowstorm in the Finse 1222 hotel. Among them is a retired detective, Hanne Wilhelmsen, confined to a wheelchair since a police shootout 4 years ago. She is grumpy, doesn't like people, and is not interested in making friends. She has her small family waiting for her back home, and that's all the relationship she needs in life. But there are some fellow passengers who are determined to shine their floodlights through Hanne's fog of rudeness. As the days goes by, she eases towards them, and she sure could use some help, because with the storm raging outside, someone inside the hotel is plotting a murder. The first morning after the train accident, people wake up to a priest lying dead outside, half buried in the snow, with a bullet hole in his head. At first, Hanne doesn't want to get involved, but people keep expecting her to do something just because she used to be a detective. But when a second priest gets killed the following night, Hanne's reluctance wears off. She studies people, the survivors from the train accident. Every one of them is suspect, except Hanne herself and a newborn baby. To add to the discord, there is a suspiciously secret passenger kept under armed protection in the upper rooms of the hotel. Things only get worse. A dog with a taste of blood gets loose, a suspicious couple who keep to themselves, an obnoxious woman with a little group of followers, edgy teenagers, a man willing to pay millions for any help in leaving the hotel, an ever-worsening storm. The storm cannot rage forever. It will stop, and when it does, people will leave the hotel. Hanne must find the murderer before that. Fantasy. Ariana is the sort of person who wants to be involved with everything that is currently famous or infamous for that matter. She needs to be in the talk, the center of attention in her social life. Her current obsession is the yearly marathon. Last year, it had come to an abrupt end when one of the runner, contestant number 1222, was found murdered on the tracks. Ariana is no runner. Her friends think she shouldn't do the marathon without proper training, but the ever so adamant Ariana will not be talked out of it. She believes she can do it, so she registers for the run and to her surprise gets assigned the number 1222. Her friends think it's a bad omen, but Ariana, she's reveling in the attention. The marathon starts and Ariana is with all her enthusiasm, but soon she feels the exertion. Ariana keeps pushing herself. Her every step feels heavier than the last, but Ariana refused to accept her friends were right. Soon, nausea sets in. She throws up, but still won't accept her friends were right. Even when she felt the edges of her vision blurring and turning black, she didn't accept her friends were right. But then, she collapses on the trail, lying on her back, panting to calm her burning lungs. Someone approaches her. Even with her blurred vision, she makes out it isn't another contestant. The person is not there to help her. The person pulls out a knife and calmly brings it down to Ariana's heart. As the tip of the knife pierces through her skin, her muscles, and into her heart, now Ariana accepts her friends were right. Ariana wakes up with a scream, in a room she doesn't recognize, in clothes she had never bought, in a body of not her own. Ariana wakes up in the body of Rin, the woman who was murdered during the marathon last year. In fact, the clock shows it is last year. The marathon in which Rin gets killed is tomorrow. Ariana calls her friends, tries to tell them who she really is, but who is going to believe her when she sounds different, looks different, and worst of all, there's another Ariana sitting beside her friends. She is confused, afraid, yet there is a small part of her that's curious about what might happen tomorrow during the marathon. Ariana shows up. Even with Rin's well-trained body, Ariana is close to passing out. It's not from the physical exertion, it's the fear of what might happen on reaching the spot she was killed. Despite herself, she trips and falls, hitting her head on a stone. She feels someone's hands on her, trying to help her get up. Wait. No, they're not trying to help her. The hands push Ariana down, keeping her head pinned to the ground. Then comes the dreadful, familiar sharp pain of a knife easing through her side, inching towards her heart. And everything goes dark. Ariana wakes up, this time in her own room, wearing her own clothes, in her own body. The marathon is tomorrow. Panicking, crying, and losing her mind, she reaches out to her friends. In the middle of them consoling her, one of them gets a call from someone claiming to be Ariana in the murdered girl Rin's body. Ariana decides not to run the marathon. She locks herself in her room, but panic sets as the clock ticks closer to her time of death. The time comes, and the time goes. Nothing happens. With a shivering exhalation of relief, Ariana realizes she needs some food in her belly and lots of coffee. On her way to the coffee shop, Ariana gets run over by a car. She dies in agonizing pain, much worse than the pain induced by the slow thrust of the knife. Ariana wakes up in Rin's body. Every time Ariana skips the marathon, she dies in a worse way. Every time she runs the marathon, she gets assigned the same number, 1222, gets killed with the knife to her heart, and wakes up the day before the marathon. There is only one way this cycle would end. Ariana doesn't know that, but she is inching towards the answer, one death at a time. Along the way, she learns about Rin, about how different Rin's social life is from her own. Her habits, even her attitude is different. And by learning Rin, Ariana learns about herself. One death at a time, Ariana changes. And somewhere in that change is the key to break the cycle. So there you have it. 3 possible plots, 2 of them are made up, only one is the actual plot for the book 1222.